There has been content which has been labelled as misinformation and which its spread has been restricted in some form, depending on the platform, which we've subsequently learned, in fact, wasn't misinformation. And to give a concrete example of this, the theory at the early beginnings of the pandemic that it might have been a lab accident, that it involved the commencement of the virus. Now, I should stress, we don't know still today whether it was natural in origin or whether it came from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, but the US intelligence community was asked by the Biden administration to look into this, and they are divided on that question. Some intelligence agencies in the US believe it's natural in origin. Others believe that it is the possibility of a lab leak. Either way, that seems like an issue which should be up for debate until we do have conclusive answers on that either way. But it was restricted on your platform. Do you have any reflections or lessons learned from that?
We fully support that principle, which is why we've worked very closely to make sure that we're getting advice from different expert groups and government agencies around where to set our policies around harmful misinformation. And that's then why we also invest in independent fact checkers, and we also then publish transparency reports through codes like the Australian codes and have fact checks published on the fact checker websites as well. With respect to the information that was deemed either harmful and removed or labelled as misinformation during the pandemic, they were extraordinary circumstances, and we were operating with the best information that we were being advised on at the time. But I'm not sure if you've seen, and happy to provide it on notice if that's helpful, our proactive referral to the Oversight Board. So that's an independent decision-making body that we've established, again, because we don't think that we should be a final arbiter of a lot of the content decisions on our services. And so we made a proactive referral to the Oversight Board, asking them, what should we now do about a lot of our policies in relation to the pandemic now that hopefully we're at the end of the pandemic. And there's a whole program of work now in place to review our policies, to further consult and engage with people to identify where the appropriate balance should be drawn.
But do you recognise it was a mistake in that instance?
These were sort of fast evolving times, and there were lots of people who were providing us with advice around what types of misinformation would constitute harm. And where under our global policies, if we're advised that by experts that particular pieces of misinformation could either cause real world harm or imminent physical danger, then we were working to remove those, and we published a list of the claims that we were removing in our help centre. I think there were around 64, if I recall correctly. And then as information changed and sort of intelligence and knowledge changed, we then made updates to those to change what content we were actioning.
I guess that just highlights the challenge, though. Even very eminent independent experts can be wrong, and it's not a slur on them. It's just because information is imperfect at various times. And doesn't that lead you to the conclusion that less censorship rather than more is the safest option, given that even experts can be wrong in hindsight?
The way that we've tried to approach it is to set up sort of independent accountability systems and transparency systems so that people have confidence that we are not the sole decision maker here, and that we're consulting widely, and that there is transparency so people can see what decisions are being made, and that can contribute then to the public debate around where to draw the line.